Oh, welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic the weekends are in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another episode of the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast is the one and only... the man who calls himself the master of the 14 millimeter, the man who carries around 54 millimeter sockets in his back pocket. Let's see, the man that can tell you how to calculate your gear ratio on the fly. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jimmy Jett. How are you, man?
Good. Thank you. What an intro. I think I'm going to cut that out and just put it in every single time whenever you introduce me to the podcast.
You should make that one of those a t-shirt. I carry a 54 millimeter socket at all times.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? All right, man. So how are you doing today?
Good. Life is good. Mm-hmm. It's been a crazy start of summer on my end.
Good.
But it's a positive thing. So the mini assistant's done with school. The assistant is now officially done with school. So summer for us has begun because they are now on summer school. They're out on summer school. So yeah, we went camping this last weekend, which we alluded to, and we got to use the Teardrop trailer, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, it's we're hitting the ground running right now is really what it's coming down to. So it's going to be a good summer. We're excited for it. And it's already busy.
Yeah. Well, you guys missed the first 5 months of the year in camping, and then you don't do snow camping. So that's the last half a month.
Sure.
So you got to make up for that 5.5 months now.
Yep. We'll go camping in 2 weeks now. I already got our next trip planned.
Yeah.
So life's good though. Just like always busy. How are you doing?
Same, busy. It's a good thing. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get the rig done before Rubathon. The things that I want to get done, without losing time playing with the kid.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's
an interesting thing. Yeah. It's an interesting, not a shuffle. What is the juggle? It's an interesting time juggle. So, it's fun though. So we'll get into those.
Well, that's it for me. It's always, if you want to be spending time with the kid, you have to work after the kid goes to bed.
And that's kind of like my thing too, but me working on I don't have a separate building to work on the vehicle. And so I'd be running a grinder and a welder and shit while the kid is asleep right above the garage. I'm like, I gotta do it. I think what I need to do is kind of reallocate my time a little bit. So I'm doing more Morphlate work on the weekends when he's napping, and then take Friday while he's at daycare, or Thursday or something while he's at daycare, and work on the vehicle during the day.
Yeah, that maybe possible.
Yeah.
Or just hire a controller.
Yeah.
Somebody to run a chunk of the business.
Yeah.
And then give you a little bit more free time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's 101 ways to skin a cat, right? Is that a good saying?
I would argue there's 102 ways.
Okay. Yeah. Probably true.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My favorite way is with fire, just FYI.
I'm not sure if fire skins the cat, but we'll let that one go. Yeah, besides the fire that's going on in Tyler's eyes, there is definitely a fire going on this weekend whenever you're using your party pack that we are giving away.
True.
Is that a good transition? Did it work?
Sure. I wasn't sure where you were going. There's a couple different ways you could have gone with that one. I like where it ended.
How could I pull this off? But so SnailTrail4x4 is giving away a party pack to a lucky individual this month. We are giving away some custom etched SnailTrail4x4 gear or Morphlate gear, or possibly something of your choosing, of whiskey glasses, pint glasses, tumblers, charcuterie boards, slate rounds, slate cup holders, smokers, whiskey or old fashioned smokers. We have a whole list of things that we're going to be giving away to a lucky individual. You have your choice up to $200 in value of what you might want, which is going to be a lot of fun for somebody that's winning. So go over to iRate4x4, sign up and log in and go down to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. And then all the sign up options are right there for you.
Sweet. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to this one. This one's going to be, I think, a lot of fun to put together.
Yeah.
For the individuals. See, A, what they choose, and then B, I don't know, it's just fun playing with the lasers. So it's
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. Do we want to see where we're at on reviews since we're getting close?
We were getting close and going quick. So.
Yeah. So while Tyler pulls up the reviews there on the Lappy Toppy, I will tell you what's going on because we're coming close to 750 reviews. Once we reach 750 reviews, we are giving away a set of tires from Yokohama Tire. So you need to go over to iTunes. You need to leave a review, and so which sounds like we've made some moves here recently.
We made a big chunk after last episode.
All right, so go over to Apple Podcasts, leave a review, get yourself entered to win that chance to win the set of tires from Yokohama Tire. You have to be entered before 750 because anybody after 750. You're not eligible.
You guys have had 6 years to leave a review. And if you don't leave a review before 750, we have zero empathy for you. Just FYI.
And we know people that have put in multiple reviews.
Yeah.
And we are going to figure out something else to do later in regards to reviews as well. So putting in a review now will make you eligible for anything we do in the future.
Yep.
So where are we at?
Do you want to guess? Do we want to play a game of this? Or do you just want to know?
I'll
okay.
Guess. You can give me a hot or cold.
We'll do Price is Right rules.
Sure. $1.
No. Wrong one.
We are at 742.
Lower.
738.
Higher.
Oh, okay. 740.
Lower.
739.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
700. Last time we were at 725.
Yeah.
So we got 14 reviews since the last time we mentioned it. And there's only 11 spots left now. So get your reviews in. We have a full set of Yokohama tires getting ready with somebody's name on it. Most likely Tyler Larson, just FYI.
Oh, no.
I need more tires.
Me too.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We got
I can talk about tires a little later.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
I need some tires, I think.
All right.
But yeah, so get over there, go to Apple Podcasts, leave your review on for SnailTrail4x4 podcast. You can be an honest review. We don't care. Just leave a review so that you have a chance to win some tires from Yokohama Tire.
Just everybody that's left in these 11 spots, if you can make fun of Jimmy's height for me, I'll give you an extra entry into just kidding. I don't think that'd be fair, but make fun of Jimmy's height anyways. It's fun.
Yeah. Fun for one of us. All right.
Anyways, so yeah, 739 is where we're at with 11 spots left for a set of Yokohama tires. A huge shout out to Yokohama for sticking in and sticking with this giveaway for so long. Hopefully it works out for them. They've gotten a lot of airtime on it, more than we were kind of anticipating, but it's exciting to actually give away a set of tires. It's going to be fun to see how we can up that from here, or if we'll be able to. We'll see. I never thought we'd get to the point where we could give away a full set of tires. It's like they're $480 a tire on 40s. If you do the 40-inch MTs, they're more than that. They're $550 a tire, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So for the 4 of them, that's $2,200. So yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Pretty cool stuff that we get to do here on the podcast because you guys listen to us and you guys like us. I don't know if you like us, but you listen to us. So, as long as we're being listened to, we don't care what you think about us. And take that. All right. So what else do we got going on?
I think that's really about it.
Okay.
I think, we can, there's a lot of stuff happening around the world right now. And I'm primarily talking about off-roading events. I'm not going into politics, but I mean, in our neck of the woods, we have Rubathon in a few weeks, which I think we're going to talk about on some of what we need to do to our rigs to get that stuff ready.
Yep.
And there's another one coming up. The Pier 4x4 event's coming up here. I think it's in a month or so. Well, there was something else this month happening. What was it?
P&W Expo.
P&W Expo. That's right.
Yep. Supposedly the Pomona Off-Road Expo is going on as well this month.
Really?
It was supposed to be, I want to say in July or August, but like in February, I think they changed the date into June and they made it overlap, I think, with P&W Expo or like the weekend right after P&W Expo or something, that it was just like, it's too tight of a time frame. So we had to cancel our booth at Pomona. We were going to go to Pomona Off-Road Expo.
Wow. Okay.
But we ended up canceling it because they changed the date and ended up overlapping with like, I think P&W Expo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think Pomona is going on this month as well. Moonlight Madness is going on.
Oh yeah.
Which is really fun. Kind of like a poker run down in the Shaver Lake area, down near Fresno and Yosemite. That's held by the Clovis 4x4 independent four-wheelers. That's what it is.
Got it.
So they do a lot of work down there with the Forest Service. They've done an awesome job with all the trails around the Red Mountain area, Bald Mountain. They help out a lot with Doozy. So it kind of revolves and centers around Bald Mountain typically for Moonlight Madness. So a really fun event down in the Dinky Creek area. Let's see what else is going on this month. I feel like there was another one, but
yeah, there's a lot happening.
Yep.
Summer is officially, kicking off, and it's like I was saying at the beginning, it's hitting the ground running, going strong, and there's a lot happening all at once.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a good news update.
Oh.
This is definitely a good one. We've talked a little bit we had John and Ken on from Rubicon Trail Foundation to talk about RTF and getting ready for the Rubicon this season and all these things. A couple of years ago when Vicky retired, Vicky was the previous manager, oversight, whatever person of the Rubicon Trail for El Dorado County.
Yep.
She managed the trail. She retired. New guy came in. His name is Zach. He seems to be very weary of everything and is kind of feeling his way into the position over the past year and a half or so, 2 years, and about a year and a half. So he's been kind of weary. And the last thing that Vicky did when she retired was she eliminated the Adopt a Trail program.
Yes, which was very odd.
She didn't eliminate it. She put it on a permanent hold.
Yeah, she suspended it.
Suspended it indefinitely, right? So the program was still around. They didn't delete any of the paperwork or process or anything, but she put it on an indefinite suspension. And then when Zach came in, he kind of looked at the program, and one of the first things that he started getting bombarded with was Adopt a Trail.
Okay.
That the Rubicon Trail is such an important trail for the 4x4 community and other communities too. I mean, people go take motorcycles, dirt bikes through there. You'll see side by sides. There's all sorts of mixed
people hike it.
Hikers are a lot in there. Anyway, so he realized that, and the Adopt a Trail people spoke out and said, hey, one of the best ways to hold people accountable on the trail for making sure that it's maintained and they're not trashing it while they're out there recreating is to have the public help maintain the trail.
Sure.
That's one of the best ways, most effective ways to keep trails clean and sustainable. And so he's been kind of going through the program. They revamped it. They went and looked at every single point of
where the Adopt a Trail people were accountable of.
Yeah. And every single dissipator, every single rock check, every single water bar, every single thing that's been put in on the trail since the Adopt a Trail program and prior was started, that the water board has stated needs to happen in order to keep the water runoff of the trail clean. They went and looked at every single thing, got updated pictures. They got updated GPS coordinates of everything. They've created GPS files for every Adopt a Trail section.
Wow.
That they can give to each section's Adopt a Trail leader. So, and RTF had a big play in that. They had all the data, and the county had a lot of data, but it wasn't all updated data. There was some updated and some not updated, and they were having trouble looking at everything and trying to figure out what was the current data. So RTF was like, well, we have all the current data. Here you go.
Sure.
And so they were, that was able to lead the county down to look at everything and completely update and revamp over a year and a half the Adopt a Trail program. They've built a maintenance shed kind of at Ellis Creek.
Okay.
Back away from the trail. So you can't really, unless you're watching for it, you don't really notice the maintenance shed from the trail at all. But that maintenance shed is going to carry tools and supplies for Adopt a Trail.
Nice.
People.
Okay.
And so, as well as their, Brian Betancourt goes and does a lot of maintenance on the trail as well for the county. So, so that maintenance shed is all done. And in order to help launch the shed and kick off opening the maintenance shed, they're relaunching the Adopt a Trail program at the same time.
Cool.
So they're inviting all the Adopt a Trail organizations, people, clubs, whoever is signed up for that section out to the maintenance shed in the morning on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
To kind of relaunch the Adopt a Trail section and go program and go over the shed. So, that's really, really great news. That Zach is reopening to working with volunteers and using the public to help maintain the trail. Not that the county needs the help to maintain the trail, but it goes a long way to make sure that the trail stays sustainable because the public now has a hand in it. So they feel more responsible and empowered, right?
Sure.
So huge kudos in my opinion to new guy Zach for doing that. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great move. I'm glad he's on board with moving forward with that program.
Yep.
I think we might try to get out there for that.
I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
So I'm going out. I'm going out there.
Okay.
You might be heading into the trail for Rubathon that day.
Yeah, there's a possibility.
I don't know if you'll just drive right by or what, but I might just wheel in with you guys and stop at Ellis and then wheel out. So we'll see.
Yeah. We're probably going to be out on the trail that day anyway. So we'll see how it goes, what needs to get done. I'm curious about how many organizations are not continuing is one of I'm kind of curious about because I don't know if people were looking for an out and now they had it or if people are looking to get in and now they have the opportunity. So I just want to see if there's open availability, maybe do a SnailTrail4x4 thing or figure something out, see any way we can help would be a benefit.
Yeah, for sure. And if people were interested, the Rubicon Trail is obviously a world-renowned trail. If you're interested in helping with the trail and get more involved than just help out with a work project every once in a while, clean up trash while you're out there, etc. I'm sure there's going to be Adopt a Trail sections that are going to be left open and available for people to get.
And there's a survey going on about that, right? There's
a survey going on if you want more information about any sort of level of involvement on the trail. That survey should be down in our show notes. It should be in our show notes since when John and Ken were on from that RTF episode a couple weeks ago. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just fill out the survey and be honest, because if you are interested in the Rubicon Trail, but you don't want to get information about it, I mean, that's an option too. So you just take the survey, be honest on the survey, and they will direct you to the right point of contact if you want it, or they will leave you alone if you want it.
Yep.
It's fun. All right. I think that's plenty of information to start. Shall we jump over to what in the butt?
Sounds good to me. Grab your favorite drinks. We're going to take a quick break. We'll hear a little bit about some Onyx mapping stuff, I guess. And then we'll be right on back with kind of how our weekends were. See you soon. Hey guys, I love going out wheeling and I love playing in the outdoors, and one of the main tools I rely on for all of the activities is onX Off-Road. onX keeps me in the know, it keeps me on the trails, and it keeps me from getting lost so that I can make it back home to my family and friends. There's tons of tools and data available for outdoor activities on the app that helps you plan your next trip, and it helps keep the adventures rolling. Start your free trial over at onxmaps.com. Welcome back, everybody. We're back here with Thursday's main topic, what we've been up to.
Yeah.
The kind of how we've been doing over the past week. This is mine and Jimmy's chance to kind of catch up because we don't really like each other in real life, and so we never talk. And so we just were forced to come together to record podcasts, and that's when we catch up because it's like we're obligated to. We don't really want to, but we have to anyway. So
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
it is a little awkward at times.
Yeah,
I was standing in the back of the warehouse, and Ben was like, "How is the trailer?" And I'm like, "I don't know how much I can tell you because
Tyler's watching the cameras right now."
Yeah, Tyler's watching cameras, and actually, you were there. You know, you're sitting there. I'm like, I can't tell you very much because we're about to go record, and I don't want to divulge a whole bunch of information. So yeah, it's just kind of funny at times.
Yeah. Anyways, we had some fun things going on. Jimmy obviously got to go camping. He's got a new trailer. You got to go use it. This is really fun in my opinion because I've been through this process.
Sure.
So I'm curious, like, because one of the things I loved about the trailer and kind of having your own trailer to build. It's not like a production model trailer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that you get to go out and use it and then figure out what you don't like about it, what you do like about it. And then you're like, I want to change this before the next trip.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so what are your priorities? And how are you going to plan on changing it? What do you want to do before the next trip? And then you get to go out and use it again.
Right.
And be like, was that change good? Is it solved? Is it how I want it? Or do you need to modify it? Or what's the next thing to change or anything? So, I love that process. I don't know why I'm weird, but I'm really excited to kind of go through that journey with you. So
sure.
That's Jimmy got a trailer, and then I got to do a little bit of work on the 4Runner. And I've come to a conclusion about how I'm going to do it. So we'll get into that too.
Nice.
So.
Well, why don't we start there? Let's talk about what you're doing with the 4Runner, and let's talk about plans and what needs to get done for Rubathon. Yeah.
So we got Rubathon coming up. June was at 25. That's July. June. That's the wrong calendar.
Wrong calendar.
Third weekend of June is what we're doing. So that's Rubathon that week. And I'm going and helping out with the mini truck 4Runner run. Led by Scott, Power Tank Steve and Tyler will be out on the run. Cool. Dimitri from Stellar Built typically comes out as well. Usually Mike Smith comes out with his big ass white 4Runner. Kevin Poole makes it out sometimes. Yep. So it should be a lot of fun. It's a really fun crew. We go from Loon to the Springs in one day on Thursday. And then we have Friday and Saturday to just kind of hang out and relax in the Springs and watch all the other wagons roll in with broken parts everywhere.
Yep.
So it's quite entertaining on Thursday, especially Saturday. I still remember Brian, 417 off-road, 719 off-road,
something like that.
432 off-road, 7, I don't know. Brian, awesome guy, has a really nice built Tacoma, solid axled with a Super 44 in the front, which I think is kind of unique and really fun for that build. I remember I was in the Springs and he came rolling in on Saturday. His face was covered in dust and sweat. His hands were covered in grease and oil and dust and dirt. His clothes were filthy.
Yep.
And I was just like, and he just looked
exhausted.
Like he was drained. Just done.
Yeah.
And I was like, Brian, I'm running up to the vehicle. Hey, what's going on? Oh, whoa. You don't look good, man. What's going on, dude?
You need some water? What's happening?
What's up, man? He goes, that was the hardest run I've ever done at Rubathon into the Springs. I was like, what happened? He goes, we had 2 to 3 rear diffs. We had 3 radiators go out. We had this and that. And I'm just like, he named off like 10 things.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much the one repairing them all.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that also tells me to never go on the wagon run.
Yeah, no, right? It's like, this is why I do the 4Runner mini truck run is because you go the distance, right? A lot of the other runs are like, oh, we're going to go to Spider Lake and then go to Buck Island and then go to the Springs. And it's not very far one day, right? Or they go to Buck and then they get to the Springs. But, you know, and so they do shorter distances. And so some of the lesser skilled off-roaders or some of the rigs that aren't exactly made for the Rubicon figure they can do it because it's not that bad for one day. Like it could take us all day, but we only have to go a third of the way through the trail. Where the 4Runner mini truck runs are like, no, we're just going to go all the way once. And if you can't keep up or you can't maintain it or you've never done it, this isn't the run for you. Yeah. You're going to stay camped here at winter camp until the wagons come through. Exactly. Yeah. And so the 4Runner mini truck run is definitely a run that is designed and made for those people that have well-built rigs and understand the Rubicon or that type of wheeling. Yeah. And so they can just scoot along and get to the Springs in a matter of hours. Yeah. Compared to days. You know what I'm really looking forward to this year? The bar? No, Senna. Oh, yeah? Because Senna has come on a brand new Lexus 470? 470, I think. Yeah. The Lexus 470, essentially the same model vehicle that I just got, but the all-wheel drive gas model. And I want to say it was like a 2021, 2022 model production. And he's brought that through the Rubicon like 3 times now, 4 times maybe. He wheels it pretty good. Yes, and he's built it up fairly well. Yeah, I've been very impressed at what he's been able to do with that vehicle. But he recently picked up he picked up a rock crawler. Yes, like a mini truck. Yep. And he's bringing that this year. So I'm really excited to see after his experience and what he's done in his Lexus, to now having a mini truck with more ground clearance, more gearing, bigger tires, and a solid axle. I'm pretty sure better approach and departure. Everything is better on this vehicle. I'm really curious to see how much better he does on the trail, and B, what his reaction is going to be between wheeling his Lexus and wheeling the mini truck. Yeah. So. I think the biggest is going to be like, everything is absolutely better in the mini truck, except I don't have air conditioning. I know a place that can solve that. So anyways, I'm looking forward to Rubathon this year. I didn't get to go last year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody again. I'm going to have a really good time. So sweet. In order to go, though, I don't want to say in order to go. Well, in order to go, I need to fix one thing for sure. Your sliders? My sliders. Okay. And I would really, really like to get everything painted under the vehicle before I go as well. I have a chunk of time that I should be able to get it done. Yeah. So those are my 2 things that I really want to do. And then my rear output on my T-case. My rear output seal has started leaking, so I want to put a new seal in it, which is 20-minute job, right? Yeah. So I'll get that done as well. That's easy. The fun part is the sliders. Yeah. Why? So the sliders you would think are pretty simple, pretty easy to do. Just cut them off of the frame, which should be fairly easy to do. And then re-guss it, put on proper frame plates, and then put them back on. Okay. At the correct height they need to be. I took me about 30 minutes. So I've got 4 kick-out posts on each slider. Sure. So 8 kick-out posts to cut off the frame. I got 6 of them cut off and pretty much ready to go within about 25, 30 minutes. Did you use a reciprocating saw? No, just a grinder. Just a grinder? Okay. Yep. Grinder did really well. I had some neighbors going around, going on their morning walks, and they were giving me funny looks because I'm laying under the vehicle with a
a fire resistant shirt on, my welding hood on grind mode.
Yeah.
And then a fiberglass blanket over the rest of me.
Sure. And sparks going everywhere.
Sparks going everywhere. So people were just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And so anyways, got the 6-post cut in about half an hour.
Okay. There's 2 more to go.
There's 2 more to go. And I cannot cut them at the frame with a grinder, or even I think with a reciprocating saw, because the 4-wheel underground lower link brackets, are massive.
Yes,
they're big, and they stick down below the frame decently in order to help maintain as parallel to the ground as you can on your lower link brackets, right? So that bracket though, it sticks out wider than the frame.
But it's inboard, right?
No, it's on your frame.
Yeah,
the lower link brackets.
It's okay. I guess mine sort of has an L and it sits on top of the frame, I believe, and then on the inside of the frame, and then the link protrudes inboard from there.
Well, that would be your upper link brackets.
Okay, what are you talking about?
The lower link brackets.
I guess mine's different setup because
you're running the trailing arms.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Nothing on my setup goes outside my frame.
Well, the bracket itself is in line, like where the heim joint sits in the bracket is in line with the frame.
Yeah.
But the bracket is so beefy that it's wider than the frame.
Okay.
So because it's wider than the frame, I have a post that sits right where that frame bracket is. And I can't get up against the frame with a grinder or reciprocating saw. So if I want to cut that post off, I have to cut it off like 2 inches away from the frame and then grind down the post all the way down to the frame.
Bummer.
So
yeah, there's probably a good tool for that, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, just a big old grinder, or maybe I could use a plasma cutter.
Yeah,
to get up in there.
Or maybe a reciprocating saw with like a 4-foot-long blade.
Nope, because then I have a body mount right there as well. The body mount is about 4 inches from the post. So I can't even get the saw up so that I'm not hitting the tub as I'm reciprocating and sawing.
All right. Guess I have to see it.
Yeah. I might be able to use a stubby blade and get in there with a flexible stubby blade and then just get
all the blades are flexible.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
Yeah. So anyways, but what I found out, I had the 6-post cut and then the one on either side where the lower link bracket is not cut.
So it's for the most part, it's the furthest back posts are
second to furthest. Yeah.
Oh, second furthest.
It's right next to that middle body mount.
Okay.
Underneath the B pillar pretty much.
Got it. On both sides.
On both sides. Yep. So, I have everything else cut, and the previous owner, when he welded on the sliders, he didn't really weld the top of the posts.
Okay.
So he just put them directly on the frame and then welded like 80%, 75% of the way around the posts.
Yeah, that'll be good.
It's fine. It works fine. Right.
Sure.
So what I found is once I cut the bottom parts out, the bottom welds out of the other 6 posts, and then I ran around. I used the 400 to run some errands this weekend. Just from standing on the sliders to get in, it bent the sliders down enough to clear the doors.
Perfect.
So now I'm kind of like, I don't think I need to cut these off and put them back on.
You just weld them in place again?
I just need to clean up the paint around the welds and put tension pressure, downwards pressure on the sliders in order to help close the gap from where I cut the welds. And then re-weld it and then properly gusset it.
Maybe. Yeah.
So what I'm thinking about doing is typically for sliders and gussets, the way you want gussets to work is you want gussets to work in compression.
Yes.
Rather than tension.
Yes.
Because there's material there. They're stronger in compression than they are in tension, right? However, if I can create a tension gusset that works off of 2 different planes, I'm wondering if that would be stronger. I'm not an engineer, but I'm wondering if that would be stronger because I'm essentially creating tension on two different planes, thus creating a triangular effect, right? As well. I'm wondering if that would be just as strong as a compression gusset on top of the sliders.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So
I'm not understand an engineer. What you're saying, but I can't answer that.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer, but I'm curious if my thinking is correct there. So my thought is I believe the sliders are 1.5 inches.
Okay.
OD. So if I can find an 1.5 inches ID tube, and cut it in such a way that it sits, because my sliders are 1/2 inch from the bottom of my frame, maybe 3/4 inch from the bottom of my frame. Cut it in such a way that I can put the tube under the bottoms of the kick-out posts, but then cut it in such a way that it fits up against the frame and also goes under the frame.
Yeah.
Weld up under the frame, up the side of the frame, and then along the kick-out posts. If that would create a dual plane tension gusset, as well as, because it's a tube and rounded, would give me a little bit of sliding action if I ever come down on my frame right there, rather than catching, like say if I had an L gusset or something there, right? So I'm curious if that would be a simple and easy enough fix.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. The way that I see it, and I mean, I could be, I don't understand. I'm not the best at this side of metal, but you're not creating a triangle for the most part. You're just adding more material to the bottom of it.
If it's welded and to the vertical plane of the frame and the horizontal plane of the frame, would that create essentially two different points of tension during force?
Right. So if you land on a rock, the stress point would be the very bottom of your frame where the rock slider kick out touches it, and you have that gusset that wraps up and around. Let's just say it goes up halfway up the tube.
Yeah.
And then you have a chunk of it that slides underneath the bottom of your frame. And so is that point there?
Is that enough?
Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know either.
I would suggest putting something on the top side, a triangle, if you can.
The only way to do that then is to cut off the whole sliders and add a top compression gusset.
Yeah.
To them all.
Yeah, I know that. I'm pretty sure it was Brad at Hot Metal Fab that said he puts all the kickouts at different angles, so that the kickout. So one kickout is down a few degrees, and the next kickout's up a few degrees, and that creates then the triangle effect is created across the entire tube.
Yeah,
which I always thought was kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing too. Yeah,
in your case, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's enough. You're just adding a bigger tube around it and then welding it to the bottom side. So maybe when the rock, you land on the rock and the rock slider wants to go up, now you're pulling from the opposite side of your frame. So is that enough, that triangle between the far side of your frame of where you welded to the top of the rock slider, enough of a triangle? I have no idea.
It's a similar effect to, I can't put down, I have a mic holder. Hold on. So it's a similar effect to if you're creating, say a singular plane that, you want a singular plane to be stronger without being thicker. You can take two, thinner pieces of metal and weld them together so that, as this wants to bend, it's pulling on tension of the bottom plate, or vice versa, right?
Understood.
Rather than just bending both of them, it's also pulling on tension of the movement between the two plates. So I'm kind of taking that concept and trying to apply it to the slider gussets.
I get it. I don't have an answer for you.
Okay.
I'm not smart enough in metallurgy or whatever, the fabrication side of things to know if that would work or not.
Yeah. So
I'll say do it and we'll
see what
find
happens.
out.
Do it and we can do some testing in Rubathon.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's an easy enough fix to be able to an easy enough fix for you to be able to do it and create it. And you're not going to have to fab a whole bunch of stuff. You just have to get a few feet of extra tube to weld those on. And if it doesn't work, it's not going to be a whole lot to cut them off.
Yeah. And it would be stronger than what I had before.
Yes.
So,
and what you had before lasted you a very long time.
Yeah. And through some pretty big hits.
Yes.
So, I'm thinking it'll be fine, but I'm just kind of curious if my thinking is correct. I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's the slider project. I spent a lot of time kind of thinking about that this weekend after I got the 6 posts cut. And I'm like,
So did you drive around and run errands with only 1 post attached?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still welded. That's 70,000 PSI weld, right?
Sure.
Anyways, so yeah, I wasn't planning on getting in a car wreck or anything, but
none of us planned for that.
On it, right? Yeah. So anyways, I did a couple errands that way. The next project is painting the underside. So my option for painting the underside is wire wheel everything down and then paint everything, right?
Yeah.
I've done this 3 times now. I've wire wheeled everything down to clear coat everything. And I'm like, I'm just getting tired of doing that. I don't want to clear coat. The clear coat just doesn't last, unfortunately.
Sure.
And it's you can't see when clear coat is rubbing off and wearing out other than the rust that starts happening. Right.
Okay.
So I've started taking a look at everything. And really 99% of everything under the vehicle right now is just very minimal surface rust. So I'm like, there's no big rust pockets. There's no big rust issues yet. So for the spots that are very minimal surface rust, you can get anaerobic paint that's specifically designed as an anaerobic prepper for painting surfaces.
Okay. And so anaerobic is when your heart rate's not at a certain
you're not getting oxygen. Yeah. Yep. That's what anaerobic means, is you're not getting oxygen. And so what it does is it seals off any of the surface rust from getting oxygen anymore. It's designed to do that.
Doesn't all paint do that?
For the most part, it has to be a thicker and laid on intentionally as a thicker coat, right?
Sure.
So there's specific paints designed as anaerobic applications to put down as a base layer, and then you can paint over that.
Okay.
So I'm going to go that route for 95% of the areas. Then for those couple little spots that are like up underneath the bump stop buckets, the bump stop cans. There's the brackets right there that didn't get a whole lot of clear coating when they were in there because they're just like tucked back up in there and I just missed them. I'll need to go through and I think wire brush those out as best I can before painting. But for the most part, I think just throwing down an anaerobic base layer and then throwing down the flat black on top of it is what I'm going to end up doing.
Smart.
Yeah.
I think that'll work. I think I agree. I don't think you have a big rust issue. It's just there's surface rust on there. And if you wanted to be anal about it or worried about it, you could scratch all that surface rust off. But even if you use a generic paint, like
probably be fine.
The amount of time that it's going to take that surface rust to start rusting overall is going to be longer than you probably have that rig. So I think you're going to be fine just cleaning up a few spots and then using a proper paint to make sure that it's not really spreading. Yeah.
So that's the goal. And then of course the T-case output seal, which is easy and simple, straightforward to do. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's a good little list. I'm excited to see the fabrication side of those rock sliders. I think I'm interested to see how that works. If anybody has any comments or questions for Tyler, because he probably won't get to that project until after this podcast is released, hit him up on Instagram, 4x4 Toyota Tyler. Message him if you think it's going to work or not. Because I think we need some better insight. We need Eric from like a Relentless Fab to tell us if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah.
So in regards to Rubathon, for me, I just got to get Bobcat steering going. I received the reservoir the other day from Radial Dynamics.
Nice.
I went back on Radial Dynamics after ordering that one. I went back on another time because Hustle Nuts like you only bought half of what you need. Like fine. So I bought the mounting bracket for it, and I bought a filter.
Nice.
So those are all in the mail on their way to me. I'm probably going to start tearing apart Bobcat's steering here in the near future and getting that completely separated, and so that when all the parts sort of come in, we can just start putting everything back together.
Mm-hmm. That's
my game plan for Bobcat.
Nice.
Samantha is somewhat on a small hold just because I want to get Bobcat going for Rubathon for that weekend. So I'm going to be working on Bobcat more than I'm going to be focusing on Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't gotten around to creating the tie rod or the drag link for it. So that's on my to-do list in the near future here. Since the steering arms are done, I need to finish doing all that steering stuff.
Yep.
I'm also working on getting re-gearing for the 8.4 in the rear.
How's that going? Do you want to talk about that process?
Well, apparently
having regrets.
I'm having a little bit of regrets. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of regrets going full widths. Just because it's wider axles, just because it's not as easy as we all anticipated. Just the 8.4s, I guess, aren't as common, which I find shocking because I know the 8-inch Toyota 8-inch third member has been around for a long time, but it's sort of, and it's still somewhat in production, but it's not. And then in like, I don't know, 2005-ish, they almost were like phasing it out, and the 8.4 was starting. So we were looking at 20 years of an 8.4 in production, and the pricing on re-gearing and getting parts for the 8.4 is drastically higher than it is an 8-inch.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it's a supply and demand issue.
Yeah.
Because the 8.4 has been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at, just even gears, it's a few $100 more.
It's almost double.
Just in gearing itself, the gears.
The hardware, yeah.
Yeah, which is it's crazy to me. So, yeah, I'm spending a lot more on the ring or the third member than I anticipated spending, just because it's a different size, which I think is stupid. But it's not my choice. It's what this is the route I'm going. I can't go back now. I've got an axle and I need to move forward. So thankfully, at least at this point, I'm pretty certain that the brakes, the e-brake, the disc brake kit that I got will be able to transfer from the mini truck axle to the T100 axle. Rear. So I don't think I need to buy new brakes for that.
So here's a question for you.
Okay.
I'm going to challenge you right now. I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily upset with the full width. You're upset with the third member of the particular full width axle you went with.
Sure. Okay.
So what if you had a full width with an 8-inch in the rear?
Yes. I mean,
with that, so what I'm alluding to is, what if you got another diamond housing?
Well, it would cost more. I'm pretty sure. I mean, to order a diamond housing is not cheap.
And then custom shafts.
And then
I wonder if you could set it up. No, you'd have to get custom shafts because you need the 8-inch on the inner shaft. So
yeah, but I think I don't know what size axle shafts are in that T100 axle. It might be the thread or the splines might fit in an 8-inch.
Interesting. So you think that the side gears for the 8-inch and 8.4 might be interchangeable?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if the splines are the same.
Yeah.
I don't
either.
I haven't counted.
Yeah.
Or tried to fit them up.
I know who would know. Beer Andy.
Beer Andy, call
in, buddy.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the amount of money that I'm going to spend to buy a custom housing or the amount of money that I'm spending to buy a upgrade the third member, I think I'm getting ahead with the third member, but it just wasn't the additional cost that the 8.4 was or is going to cost was not anticipated.
Yeah.
I assumed that
they were roughly about the same
instead of almost double the price.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do my due diligence and call around and try to get some quotes from some other people or try to work some, deals out with the marketing side of things. But yeah, so I'm not sure which way would have been absolutely better. But I think an 8.4 is going to be a stronger diff regardless. So I'm going to spend a little bit more money and have a stronger diff than the 8-inch. So it's all in good cause. But yeah, I already had a 8-inch Toyota E-Locker with 529s. And I was hopefully we went down this rabbit hole. I don't know how many months ago about okay, I'm just going to bite the bullet and get an axle that's going to fit underneath the rig instead of worrying about custom building one or anything for the third member that I already have.
Yeah.
I don't have a right. I don't know which way would have been correct, because I would have had to buy a custom housing and already have the third member, maybe custom axle shafts. Right. Or now I just have to put the ring and pinion setup and an E-Locker possibly, or maybe just a spool in the rear of a third member. So yeah, no necessary winning there, but I need to get that ball rolling so I can get the parts ordered and everything going. So, because once we're kind of done or at another holding spot in the front, I'm going to move to the rear and start assembling the rear. And I need the third member at least up and running and going so that I can start playing with pinion angles and lining that up and getting all that correct.
Yeah.
So when I put the truss on and all the axle parts, that it's going to be set up correctly.
I mean, you can figure out your pinion angle without having the diff in there.
Yeah.
So
for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not difficult to do, but if I had the third member, it'd be a lot
easier if I've been sitting in there.
It'd be a lot easier. And regardless, shipping times and things these days, who knows how long it's going to be. I don't want to be held up by not having some parts. Yeah. So I need to get those ordered.
Yeah.
So Bobcat steering is going to happen. I need to get stuff going for Samantha so that when Bobcat's done, we can start moving forward on Samantha. And then that brings us up to camping.
Nice.
This last weekend. So we went camping. We went to Olima Ranch, which was
Olima Ranch.
Oh, I think it's an O.
Okay.
Olima Ranch. I'm pretty sure. It's like almost halfway between Stinson Beach and Bodega Bay.
I don't know where either of those are.
Okay. So it's north of San Francisco on the coast, somewhat.
Cool.
Yeah. And Point Reyes, it's in that general area.
Gotcha.
Right. It's near Point Reyes.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic campground. We've gone back many times. The assistant has actually been going there on and off since she was maybe a teenager or a little in her 20s, maybe.
Okay.
And so it's a fun spot. And we went and we invited a bunch of the mini assistants' friends from school. So nice. Two of them made it. So they joined us. So their families came out. And one of them has been camping a lot. Mm-hmm. One of them has never really been camping ever.
Okay.
The dad likes camping and likes going out. The mom has not been camping since she was a child.
Okay.
And so it was kind of like, okay, what are they going to do? Mm-hmm. So they ended up renting an RV.
Okay.
And took the RV out, which worked out, I think, pretty well for them. Mm-hmm. But so we took the Teardrop camper.
Yeah.
For its maiden or virgin voyage is what we were calling it. Maiden voyage. Before we left, I ran around the camper, checked a whole bunch of things. I aired up the tires. I aired up the tires on Charlotte. I called you and I asked some more flight logistics about how I have load range E tires on Charlotte. And they're rated up to 80 PSI. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, should I go up to 80 PSI? I don't know if I need to. I have this, it's a light trailer.
Yeah.
So
There's
anyways,
very little tongue weight on that trailer.
yeah,
on the
it
truck,
does go down very little bit.
Okay.
So I did though. I went up to 80 PSI in the rear and then I did 60 PSI in front, trying to make a little bit more softer dampening on suspension.
Okay.
And then I drove it around after the fact and I'm like, the tire pressure is way too high. I need to lower these back down. Anyways, so I did that. We checked the propane level. It was fine.
How'd you check the propane level?
With my muscles, mainly.
Okay.
Muscles and shaking it.
That feels heavy.
It had stuff in it and we weren't going to be cooking a lot.
Okay. There's some really cool, do you have 2 propane tanks on there?
I have one and I'm not sure its size, but I'm guessing it's like a 10 pound.
Okay. And it's standing up vertically.
Yeah.
So there's so these really cool sensors you can get that you can put on the bottom of your propane tank. And it essentially sends a sonic signal into the tank, and it'll be able to tell based on the reverberations of the sound how full or empty your tank is. And it'll report that to an app on your phone.
Wow.
So I've got those set up on the tanks in the Lance.
Okay.
Super, super useful because I can, before I go, as I'm getting the Lance ready to go out, I just open up my phone real quick, pull up the app. It connects to the sensors if I'm within 20 feet of them. And I can look at the tanks and be like, oh, that one's half full. That one's half empty.
Yeah.
And then, if I feel like I'm below the level that I want to be at, I can refill it before the trip. So
makes sense.
Super, super helpful. They're like, I think $30 for the 2 sensors.
Oh, nice.
If you only have one sensor, it'd probably be like $20. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll have to find those and grab one. But we didn't cook a lot, so I wasn't too worried about it. And I could tell that it had propane in it. Yeah. I tried to do the water test. Like I've seen where people will like dunk the green cans into water and like they'll float around the level of what the liquid propane is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I went to do that and I grabbed like a 5-gallon bucket and it looked like it would fit and it was fine and it did fit. But then I put it in and it floated way high. Like I'm like, no, this isn't right. And I flipped over the propane tank and it had this huge like dimple or convex to it. And so there was no way for the air to escape. So there was just all this pocket of air holding it up. So I was like, okay, well, do I want to fill the entire bathtub to try to eliminate the air? And I was like, no, I think we're going to be all right. Yeah. So I don't think we're going to do a lot of camping or a lot of cooking at the next camping trip. So I think we're just going to risk it. Mm-hmm. And then we have another one in like a month. Mm-hmm. And I'll probably get it filled up for that next one.
Or you could add a second battery in it and run electric stove top.
Possibly. Mm-hmm. I did add the 100 amp hour battery to the system. And I took out the 2 ginormous 6 volt, 20 amp hour batteries. Yep. They were so heavy. Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Their 6 volt batteries are just stupid heavy in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. So I took those out and I put in like a 2/3 the size of one of the batteries that weighed at probably about half of one, if not less than one of the batteries. Put that in there. And it's also a 100 amp hour battery from the 20 amp hours that they were suggested. Mm-hmm. And we got about around 2 days of use in the trailer. Not concerning anything. I said,
use as much as you want.
Use as much as you want.
Need. Yeah.
Yeah. If you forget to leave the light on, whoops, but go back and turn it off. But like, let's not, like, if we're going to get it when we get into the trailer at night, let's not concern ourselves about like, should we run like a separate flashlight that's not connected to the battery or run the lights that are connected to the battery?
Just run the house lights and see what happens.
Yeah. So we did everything. We ran the house lights. We ran the fridge for multiple days. There was a little Dometic fridge that's in the trailer. We ran that and it got us roughly 2 days.
That's pretty good. If you're running the fridge the whole time too, and using power and everything, 2 days on 100 amp hours is pretty good.
Yeah. We were happy with that. So we'll fully charge it before we go out and we know we can have a weekend. Yeah. For the most part. Yeah. And if
you have solar panels on the top?
No, but I have a solar panel
like a portable one.
A portable one with alligator clips that I could connect up to the battery.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't do that because I wanted to see how long the battery's going.
Yeah.
And in this case, worst case scenario, I can just connect it to the power that was there at the campsite we were using.
Yeah.
If I needed to get batteries. So
do you know if the charging system is also set up to charge through do you have a 7-pin on the trailer or 4-pin?
I have a 4-pin, but I want to upgrade that whole system so that while I'm towing, I can charge the battery as well.
Yep.
I also in the future want to add trailer brakes.
Yeah.
The Tacoma pulled and stopped the trailer fine. Definitely noticed that there was weight behind the Tacoma when I was stopping.
Yeah.
Another thing I did was I changed the brakes on the Tacoma before I left because I knew that my brakes were getting low and I didn't want to have to worry about it at all while I was out driving around. So there was a few times, especially at the beginning when like traffic came to a stop in Sacramento. And I was like, and I was like worried and everything stopped really well. But I think if I had trailer brakes on there, I wouldn't have to worry about anything. It would just stop way better. So I want to add trailer brakes, which means I'm going to need to use a 7-pin and set all that up. And then I can set up a way to trickle charge the battery while the truck is on as well.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah. So that's all on my to-do list eventually. Nice. No major rush on that because it works great. Like the Tacoma has plenty of power to pull this little trailer. The braking power was fine. It worked great. I caught myself many times going like, I have a trailer behind me. I can't go, like I have to go slower than the car speed limit.
Yeah.
I have to go my 55 miles an hour or whatever it is. And so it pulled fine. And like I was going up hills, and I have to shift from my overdrive to my overdrive into 5th gear and go up some of these hills, but it drove fine. It slept very well. Oh, but a problem we had, and I need to adjust or possibly fix before the next trip, was there was a very minor small leak from the water inlet from the outside to inside.
Okay.
We cooked dinner the first night, which was really nice. So we showed up and it was nice to have a trailer because all we did was pop the hatch on the back of the trailer and kitchen was ready to roll.
Yeah.
It was really nice. We didn't have to worry about pulling bins out. We didn't have to worry about organizing. We didn't have to, where's the stove? Where's the propane tank? How do we do this?
Yep.
It was all ready to go. We just had to like open the stove, and grab a pot. And so dinner was really nice because as soon as you pulled up, we were able to cook. There was already we caught up to one of the families on the drive and one of the other families was already there.
Okay.
We got there kind of late-ish, like 7:00. It's kind of late for dinner, but we were able to get dinner rolling super fast. When we were cleaning dishes, we used up all the water that was in the water tank that we carried. And we purposely didn't fill it because we didn't know how old or how long that water has been in there. We wanted to just get rid of the water that was in there, run it pretty much dry. And then we were going to use, there's 2 water inlets. One of them lets us just use the pressure out of like the hose.
Okay.
And one of them lets us fill the tank.
Like a funnel or something.
Yeah, it has like a funnel system that lets us fill the tank that is inside the trailer.
Okay.
And then we have a pump that will run it through the sink.
Okay.
So we hooked up the system that goes from the hose, pressurizes the system, and then we have it literally is one side of the sink runs one system and the other side of the sink runs the other system. And so when we had everything pressurized, there was a leak on the inside of the trailer through the wall somewhere. So where the hose connected outside was fine. Where the water was coming out inside the trailer, it hits a plastic 90-degree setup. And then there's like a plastic hose there with a hose clamp around it. Something in that was leaking. I don't know what it was. I didn't. Okay. All I knew is when we were done, I went to look and there was water inside. Right. And I was like, oh, there's a problem here. Yeah. And then we didn't use water the rest of the time. We turned it off. We didn't need water. We weren't doing dishes after that. So I just need to plug it all in and see what's going on before our next trip. Sleeping was great. It's like a queen bed on the inside with some extra foot room down at the bottom. We'd sleep with a queen bed anyway. So it just was like at home. The mattress was plenty comfortable. It was a little too what's it called? Where the memory foamish for me.
A little too soft, you sink into it kind of thing or settle in.
What I don't like is when and all beds do this to some extent, but the foam of it is like if I laid on my back for a long time and then I went to roll to my side, there's still the imprint of me in my back. And like, my side doesn't fit into where my back was. Right. And it's just not as comfortable. So I don't know. We're not going to upgrade the bed anytime soon. And it was plenty fine. Both of us slept very well. It got very hot inside the trailer.
Okay.
But we purposefully didn't open any vents the first night.
Okay.
Because we wanted to see like,
what
does moisture condensation appear inside? Does it get too warm? What it was? We woke up about 3:00 and both of us were like, we are hot. And we have windows in the doors. There's doors on both sides of the trailers. So we opened the windows and I cracked, there's like a sunroof and we went to bed and it was still pretty hot. Like we woke up again and then we turned on the fan at the top and it's like a whole house fan, man. This thing cranks and it pulls the cold air in from outside and blew the hot air out the top. And we were like, that's nice.
Yeah.
I feel that the fan is too strong. Like level 1 is all I need and it goes up to level 3. And I'm thinking about putting a reducer or a restrictor inside of it. There's a term for that. I don't know what it's called offhand, but just like soldering in something. So it's just not as powerful.
It down steps the voltage.
Exactly.
Yeah. For the motor.
Yep. So that level 1 now will be level 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so that I can turn it on level 1 and it'll be like a slow pull and I could probably leave it on all night or something like that. You know, it'd just be this constant air movement where if I needed to get the air out of there, like if I tooted or something, you know, a fart fan, like just boom, that's gone. So that was something I might change at one point. Eventually we're going to want to put the rooftop tent on the top, which we didn't do this time because the mini assistant slept in a ground tent.
Okay.
I do need to upgrade the mounting setup on the top.
Yeah.
It does have an awning up there right now. We didn't use it. Don't know how it works. It's a Yakima and just like a straight out awning. So might change it out to like an Ironman 4x4 180 in the future. But I don't know. Haven't used it yet. Don't know. We parked in a position that we didn't really need it on that side. And that's how that went.
Okay.
I don't know. It was really nice. It was nice to have. It was a perfect this was a perfect situation for having a trailer. Like we went to a car camping campground.
Yep.
Right. And we pulled up with the trailer and set the trailer down and used the trailer as the kitchen, used the trailer as the bedroom, disconnected the truck. The next day we went down to the beach. Like we didn't have to fold up the rooftop tent. We didn't have to change anything. You know, we just took the truck away, went down to Stinson Beach, hung out at the beach all day long. It was overcast and windy, and then it became sunny, but it was still windy. It was cold. I ended up building like a wall to kind of like block the wind from hitting me when I was laying down. But it was a good day. The kids had a lot of fun. They played on the beach. I hit a token out there. All right. So we will have, I had 2 tokens this weekend. Okay. So there will be hitting the list here soon and we'll get them up there, which we'll talk about that in the future, I think. And then, went back, got some ice cream, then went back and we had dinner and hung out and played some, wasn't phase 5, but it was like this card game where they gave you a prompt. It was sort of like Trivial Pursuit in a way, but they told you something like, name movies that Clint Eastwood has been in. And your goal is to, if you can name 5 of them, then you win that card. And you're you go until somebody wins 5 cards. Okay. Right. And then there was like 5 prompts on a card and you like pick the card. Somebody else picked the card and then you said 1 through 5, or at least that's the way we played it. And then they would read it in the prompt. And then if you could answer the question 5 times or 5 ways, then you got that card. And eventually
how do you verify the answers? Do you have to Google them?
No, it's honor system, I guess. Okay. But is what we did. Well, eventually we weren't even counting cards. We just we would hand it to the left. The person from the left would read the card for the person on, I think, the right. And then when you were done, the person then handed it to the left, and then they read it for the next person, and then it just went around. We ran in a circle and played a game. That was when all the kids went to bed and the adults were sitting around having a drink, just playing this game and having fun.
Yeah.
Pack up was super nice. It was easy. I mean, it was nice. When I originally packed up, I threw a bunch of stuff in the bed of the truck. And when I finished packing up, I just threw almost everything in the trailer.
Yep.
So that worked out well. We did put our like a mattress topper on the foam bed, but the foam bed folds up into sort of a couch.
Okay.
And that's nice because then but we were concerned that the foam mattress topper thing would prevent it from folding up, but it didn't.
Nice.
And it was nice to fold the couch up, fold it into the couch position, because then all the totes and everything don't go on your bed.
Yeah.
They just go on the floor of the Teardrop trailer.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was nice. We did bring the Ironman 4x4 fridge as well. And it was really nice to have, like, we had like more or less three compartments of fridges going.
Yeah.
And we just turned one of the compartments of the Ironman 4x4 fridge into the drinks fridge. And then we had 2 food fridges, me. And eventually we didn't need one of them, but the trailer was always running. So we turned one of the sections of the Ironman 4x4 fridge off completely. Yeah. We left the drink fridge side going and all the food was in the trailer fridge.
Yeah.
And that worked out well. I am going to figure out how to put that Ironman 4x4 fridge into the trailer. Okay. That is a goal of mine. It's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to need to raise the shelf, the kitchen shelf up, and I'm going to need to remove and push back the divider wall between the kitchen and the sleeping area.
And relocate the water tank.
In that, in that time.
Which means you then have to relocate the fill neck on the water tank and maybe the pressure.
Yeah. There's a lot of
the plumbing for it all. So
yeah, maybe. I'm hoping that I might just be able to leave those where they are, because I don't want random holes on the side or just filled, like a cover or let's just put a sticker over it, or something. So I'm thinking I might I want to put the water tank under the trailer.
Yeah.
That's my goal. I also want to lift the trailer. I want to put it on Toyota lug patterns, hubs. And I would love to be able to get very close to the same size tires that the Tacoma has.
Okay.
And so if I lift it up, I'm going to gain a little bit more clearance underneath. Then I can put a water tank underneath the trailer. And so I'm hoping I can just leave the fill thing where it is and then just push it down and cut a hole in the floor.
Yeah.
And then just plumb it through that way instead of routing it around.
Yep.
The other one's not going to have to change because I have the 2 water systems, right?
Yeah.
The one that fills the tank and the one that just runs the sink.
Gotcha.
The other one, that one's not going to have to change.
Okay.
That one's going to be the same. So that's going to be a lot of work. I'm probably not going to do that before our next trip, which is in like 2 weeks. I might try to do it before our bigger trip when we're going to go to Lassen this year. Maybe. It's a big job. Some things I do want to get done in addition is I want to, when I lift the trailer, add bigger tires, I want to sort of put some rock sliders on it.
Okay.
Just little like tiny kickouts, just something to hold if in case something's coming close. I don't want it to hit the frame, or I don't want it to possibly hit the body of the trailer. So I'm going to put like 3 to 4 inch little kickouts along it. And then I might reinforce the fenders so that if the fender leans up against something, it'll be a little bit stronger. And maybe I'm not even touching the fender. I might just put a tube on the outside of it or something to make it a little bit more robust.
Yep.
There are brake lights and trailer and hazard lights and blinkers on it, but they're super duper low. Like they're at the they're almost below the frame of the trailer. So I'm thinking I want to, I don't know if this is possible, something I'm going to do, but I kind of want to redo the fender and make it so that there's a flat point on the top of the fender.
Okay.
And then I want to incorporate the lights into that.
Okay.
I want a flat point up there because it's just a rounded fender and I want to utilize the fender as a place to put things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So just as a, for whatever, I mean, there's just another shelf one way or another.
I hear Metal Cloak has some JL fenders with lights already built into them that are flat on top.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? There are a lot of added shelving options for the trailer. Like they had these things that he made to be able to put the fenders in different spots.
Yeah.
These shelves in different locations. And some of them I don't think we needed.
Okay.
Like, we liked the larger ones, but then he also had these like smaller versions. And I'm like, we don't really need that. Like we just need sort of the larger ones. One of them was nice because it was like 4 feet, 4 feet long. And then it had a leg that went down to the ground.
Yeah.
And you could adjust the leg within a like half inch or so. And that was really nice next to the sink.
Okay.
So that you could have your sink and then you have dishes or whatever there and you can work off the sink. So that worked out well. I don't know. There was a whole storage area like above the sink on that you can access from inside the trailer or the kitchen side of the trailer. And we didn't use it. Yeah. And we don't know exactly how we want to use it yet. So I don't think we've used it.
Yeah.
I think like I want to put my bag kind of up there, but it's also, there's some kitchen stuff that we might want to put up there. So I'm not sure if we're going to like divide it and put a divider in it or just sort of work with both. Or maybe one side is going to be my bag and the other side is going to be some kitchen stuff. Don't know exactly how to do that. He also put in the bed area, they put a slider for like, you can slide out a laptop or a workstation.
Oh, okay.
Which is very smart, but I kicked it a few times in the middle of the night. So I'm not sure if I want to keep that either. And I'm not sure how often I'm going to be wanting to sit in the trailer doing some work.
Yeah, it depends if you're going out in inclement weather, if that's what you want to do with it. So,
that's true.
And if you have a 180-degree awning, then you can kind of sit out in the weather and under the awning. So
yeah, exactly. I think I've been eyeing the 180-degree Ironman 4x4 awning, and then they have a version that has walls and they have a version that has a tent underneath it. Yeah. And I think it might be really neat to do something like have the 180-degree awning with the tent side, and then the mini assistant can just sleep in the tent area. Yeah. And we don't have to necessarily put the rooftop tent on top of the trailer, which might be nice. Yeah. Because then I don't have to figure out a way to reinforce these crossbars and make them stronger, because they're only like small screws that that screw into the side of the trailer to hold these crossbars up, which is fine for an awning. Yeah. But not for a rooftop tent. Yeah. So that's a little bit of work. I don't know. All in all, we were super happy about it. We really liked it. I think it's going to be a fun addition. I was listening to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey podcast, and they were talking about, Chris Ray called in there, and he was talking about the price of Rhea. Chris Rhea called in. Yeah, thanks for the correction. And they were talking about the price of admission to KOH. Okay. And it got me thinking about KOH, and I'm like, would I want to bring the Tacoma and the Teardrop? Which would be nice. Yeah, it could work. And I can romp around then in the Tacoma, but it would also be nice to have Bobcat down, but I can't really tow Bobcat, and I can't tow that trailer with Bobcat. Yeah. So it's like, is it an item that I would want to take out to like King of the Hammers? And I think at this point, no. One, it's not rugged enough. And I don't know if it's the type of, like, I don't think I want the Tacoma to be out there at King of the Hammers. I think I'd rather have Bobcat. So I don't know as of right now if it's the direction for some of the events. It's definitely a fun thing to have for some styles of camping. Yeah. Like our annual Camp Lotus trip, summer solstice camping trips coming up in 2 weeks.
It's perfect for that.
It's perfect for that. Yeah. Like we're going to a campground. We're going to go hang out with friends. Yeah. We don't have to, I mean, a rooftop tent is fine for this situation too, because we're not going anywhere, right? This one, we drive there and we're done. But the Teardrop trailer is going to be perfect for that as well. And it's, in a way, it's more convenient because it has the kitchen already pre-assembled and set up. Another thing we're doing is we are writing down everything we're taking out of our camping bins and we're putting into the Teardrop trailer.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because I still want to have the camping bins for when I go off-roading set up.
Yep.
And so the camping bins are going to be ready and the Teardrop trailer will be ready.
Yep.
And depending on which direction you want to go, there will be very minimal moving stuff back and forth.
Yep.
Like maybe, a hammock or something. But
yeah, that's very smart. That's something I did not do.
Yeah, not a kitchen.
Yeah.
Right. And you have the same situation with the Lance, so like if you take the Lance out, then you've got all your kitchen stuff. But if you just take Kermit out, you got to pull stuff out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so, we pulled out like a strainer and some knives and some silverware and some cleaning bins and a pot and all this stuff we put in the trailer. We wrote all those down so that we can start getting other stuff for just our camping totes.
Yep.
But
nice.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, all in all, we're extremely happy with it. I think there's some bigger upgrades that we want to do and some small upgrades that we want to take care of. But I think the big upgrades aren't going to happen anytime soon. Maybe I'll try and work on getting the fridge into the trailer before Lassen. But it also wasn't a bad thing to just put the fridge in the back of the Tacoma and use the Tacoma to power the fridge most of the time and then use the Wagon Tech lithium cube battery to run the fridge the rest of the other time. And that all worked out well. I also did some math because I was curious about, I have the Wagon Tech 500 watt hour battery and I bought a 100 amp hour battery for the trailer.
Yep.
Like, how do those compare?
Yeah.
Do you know the math? Okay. I didn't know the math.
Watts are amps times voltage.
Okay.
So if you're running a 12 volt system, that's a known number, right? So it's not a variable. You know that's a 12 volt. And you have a 100 amp hour battery. You do 100 times 12.
Okay.
So you got a 1200 watt hours.
Exactly. Yep.
So your 500 watt hour Wagon Tech is roughly 50%
roughly
of your 100 amp hour battery that you got in the trailer.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. So now the fact that we're going to probably carry both of those, we're going to carry the Wagon Tech battery still with us anyway. We bought a heated mattress pad.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
And the heated mattress pad primarily runs on 110.
Okay. Yeah.
We just didn't put the forethought to try to get 12 volt.
And surprisingly, 12 volt heated mattress pads are either really difficult to find or really fucking expensive.
Yeah. I don't understand.
I'm like, what?
Somebody needs to solve that.
Yeah. I do have one saved in my Amazon listing. I found a relatively inexpensive 12 volt heated mattress pad.
Yeah. Heated blankets are are more common.
Yeah.
And they cost less, but a heated mattress pad isn't as common. So, anyways, the assistant bought a 110 style setup, and the one she bought has two controllers, one per side, but each side requires its own plug.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I don't. And the only way that I know of at this point in time, because I'm not 100% sure of all the electronics on the trailer, I don't think there's a converter on the trailer that will convert 12 volts to 110.
Yep.
The only time you can run 110 is if you are plugged into a wall.
That's usually how a lot of RV trailers work that do not have a power generator built into them, right? Is that the only time you can run the 110 system is if you're plugged into shore power, is what it's called, right? Or you're running your power generator.
Right.
So yeah, it's really nice to be able to put in a power inverter, but then you have to wire it special. And Jason Green and Ozzy have done that to their Lances. Wired it special so that they have a 2000 watt inverter and they can run 110 off of their battery system,
right,
without backfilling and burning up their battery system when they're plugged into shore power.
Sure. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So to run, if we want to run the mattress pad, the solution right now is we're just going to use a lithium cube.
Yeah.
So we're going to be, I mean, and I don't think it's a bad idea to have those with us anyway.
Yeah.
You know, especially if we go on a trip that's longer than 2 days, then we can charge things off the lithium cubes and not worry about running the fridge batteries or it's just extra power to have with you. And they're not that big. So it's not that big of a deal to carry. I have 2 of them too. So I don't know if I'm going to keep one in the trailer and just take one with me, or I'm not sure how to set that all up or what I'm going to do. But we're still going to bring the lithium cubes out with us when we go. And if we want to run the heated mattress pads when it's cold, we're going to run them off of that. Yeah. And we're not going to worry about shore power so much. Yeah. But
1 to 200 watt flexible solar panels are a really good price right now. Just FYI.
Yeah. So I'm sure. So I think we have a big name brand. It starts with an R. I forgot. Renogy. I have a Renogy, and I believe it's 100 watt solar panel. But it is bulky. Yeah. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Cause I think the Wagon Tech one that I have is an 80 watt and it is streamlined and thin and nice. And this thing is like metal framed and ridiculously heavy and I'm like, man, I'll just get another Wagon Tech and run 2 of these and be better off and smaller packaged. And I know Wagon Tech even has bigger ones too, but
Wagon Tech's not around anymore.
I know. They're closed? Are the doors closed?
I believe so. I want to say that he was planning to not have the company anymore as of like May this year.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if the the purchaser was going to rename or just eliminate them or change it or just continue to run. I'm not sure what was happening there.
I don't believe he was continuing to run. If anything, he was going to get rid of the brand and pull the product line in under its own umbrella.
Got it.
So
yeah.
And I don't remember what that umbrella was.
Regardless, I can get another solar panel.
Yeah.
That is as powerful and less bulky than what I have. I thought about getting possibly a flexible one and mounting it on the trailer.
I would put it on your back hatch.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea because the hatch will be open most of the time.
Yep.
Speaking of back hatch, I have an old, the hardcore lighting.
Oh yeah.
I have an old one of those that I never installed that I was going to put underneath my rooftop tent and wire it up, and it will do white light and amber light.
Nice.
And I'm thinking about putting it on the back hatch so that there's light underneath there as well. There's a few spots that I want to change out the lighting or do something, but I also need to figure out how to change. So I looked at the bulbs because I talked about going to LEDs. The bulbs are like our headlight bulbs in a way, the kind that you press in and twist to get them to lock into place. It's not a simple switch out. Yeah. I haven't looked into it. I don't know if they make LED bulbs that do that style connection.
They do.
But I did look at our like RV.com or something like USRV.com or some RV company, and they make almost identical lighting that just have LED boards on the inside. Okay. So I could pull off the whole housing off of the trailer and put on almost an identical housing. Yeah. And it would just be an LED version of it.
Okay.
So I might do that in a few spots. I wanted to slim down the outside ones. So I might look into how to possibly do that so that they're just not as bulbous. Just aesthetics, really. Yeah. I don't think it's an aerodynamic situation. So, or if I end up getting the Ironman 4x4 180 awning, it'll have lights underneath it, and that would be pretty rad as well. So there's some lighting things I want to do. There's some major tweaks I want to change to it. There's not a lot of minor stuff. We're quite happy with the way the trailer is. I just want to make it like, I want to lift it and put bigger tires on it. I don't know why.
Tim Allen trailer.
Yeah. Needs more horsepower. But No, but we were very satisfied with it. We're happy with the purchase. And I think the assistant is super excited because she already is talking about what other camping trips we can go on, how we can use the trailer for some more longer distance travel. I think that the mini assistant is very jealous that we're sleeping inside of the trailer and she was sleeping outside, but she had friends to sleep with, so that worked out.
Nice.
But she wants to chance to try the sleep inside the trailer as well. And I said, hey, I'll take the rooftop tent. I'll be more than happy. And the assistant's like, I don't want to sleep with her. She punches and kicks. I'm like, all right, fine. But no, all in all, happy. I like I was saying, there's some things we want to tweak. There's some major overhaul that we kind of want to do. But none of it needs to happen immediately because it works really well.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. That's all I have to say. The assistant is very happy about some of the silliest things, like the curtain design.
Okay.
She loves it. She loves the pots or the bowls and the plates.
Okay.
She loves those designs. And then there was a like doormat and it was rolled up so that only the exterior or the underside of the doormat was showing. And when she opened it up, she was like, oh, this is so cute. And she like wanted to lay it out. And they're all trailer-esque themed things.
Not the trailer itself.
Not the trailer, but it's just trailer themed.
Okay.
So
she wants to accessorize,
I guess. We did go to Point Reyes and we went out to the lighthouse. I did not hide the puck out there.
Okay.
But we bought a sticker from Point Reyes and we're considering stickering up some section of the trailer with places we've been. I'm trying to figure out a way to I don't want that to happen completely. Like I don't want a wall to be covered in stickers.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about trying to like make a nice like fake wall and we put a bunch of stickers on that fake wall. And then when it fills up, we can change it or we can just keep going. Or if we ever choose to sell the trailer, I don't have to worry about pulling a grip load of stickers off.
Yeah.
I just take this fake wall off and it's done. I'm not sure. So, I don't know what the idea is, behind the stickers yet, but we bought one in case we wanted to start setting it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool. That sounds like a fun weekend. I'm excited that the trailer's working out really well. It's fun to hear, the different things you want to do with it. So I'm really excited to kind of see where it goes in the future.
Yeah. It's sort of the like third in line tier for my order of operations on things right now. So it'll be one of those, like, as soon as I'm done with the garden, it's going to move up to like number 2. Samantha and the garden are going head on which one's kind of more important. The garden at this point, I pretty much realized we're not going to have a garden this year because there's no fencing. It's too late. There's no garden up, or the fencing's not up. So Samantha, in my mind's taking the majority of the
priority.
Yeah, the pole position. I might hire somebody out just to do the garden and just because I need to work on Samantha and I need to stop doing home projects so I can work on my day job projects.
Yeah.
And so I have the gist of how the garden's going to be set up and like how the panels are going to be made. It's just now a matter of getting them done and digging the holes and setting them all up. And I think, to some extent, a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
And are probably better and more efficient at it than me.
Yep.
So, I might hire out for that. We'll see what ends up going on there.
Yep.
So, and then the trailer will be a little farther down in line.
Yeah.
But I don't think lifting the trailer, putting the fridge in the trailer, setting up the water system and stuff is going to happen. It'll probably be a winter project.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a necessity for the trailer to function.
Correct.
It's just an upgrade. You can still have the fridge. You can still have your water system, everything the way it is right now. It all works. It's just, how can you make it work better?
Yeah. What is more convenient for us? What is something more streamlined? Because right now the water tank's like in the sleeping area at the foot of the bed, taking up a little bit of room.
Yeah.
which isn't a very big deal, but it's just positioned kind of funky.
Yeah.
Granted, I like the fact that it's centered because water is heavy and it's a 10-gallon tank. Water is, what is it, like 8 pounds per gallon. So it's 80 pounds if that thing's full.
Yeah.
Smack dab in the middle of the trailer, pretty much over the axle. So it's like very well positioned. It's just, why is there a tank in the sleeping area of this? And I think it's just because the trailer is thin, small on the bottom, and there's not a lot of spare room. And the person assembling it probably wasn't too concerned about going off-road.
Yeah.
And I want to put the tank lower. I want a flatter, streamlined tank. And I'm going to need to put some sort of skid plate on it just so that there's some sort of protection. Not a lot, because I'm not going to take it on any crazy off-road. But I am thinking about putting that Timberin axle-less suspension under there.
That'd be nice.
So there won't be an axle that goes side to side to protect it. So I definitely am going to need to put a skid plate on it.
Yeah.
I did lay under the trailer during we played a fun game camping. We played a hide and go seek game called Sardines.
I love that game.
Yeah. Which is the opposite in a way of hide and go seek.
Yeah.
It's one person hides instead of one person searching. So one person hides, everybody else is searching. And then when somebody finds the person that's hiding, they now hide in that spot too.
Yep.
And you get as many people hiding in that spot as you can until there's one person left searching. And that person's the loser.
It person next time.
It person next time. So I hid under the trailer during the Sardines game. We quickly found out that the kids are really bad at hiding.
Okay.
And they also are kind of bad at searching.
Okay.
So all I did was lay under the trailer. And they could not find me worth shit. Like they walked all around the trailer. They opened the trailer. They opened the truck. They walked all over the place. It went we set sort of ground rules in the entire campground. Like don't go past the playground. Don't go past the bathroom that way.
No hiding in other people's vehicles.
No hiding in other people's tents. Yeah. And they could not find me, and they needed the parents' participation, more or less saying where I was. Well, while I was laying under there, I was looking at where can I put the water tank? And there's a very easy spot to put it underneath there, so that it'll work out well.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Sounds like you had a fun weekend. That's exciting.
Big time.
I love it. Curious if anybody has ideas for stuff they've done with their trailers. Send them on in. We love hearing from you guys. A voicemail number is always welcome. It's 916-345-4744. You can reach out to Jimmy at SnailTrail4x4 on Instagram. If you have any questions for me, over at 4x4 Toyota Tyler's, where you can find me there on Instagram. There's lots of other places you guys can find us. Make sure you're getting in for the reviews before they're gone. We might hit 750 by the next time we record at the pace we're going. So definitely make sure you guys are going over there. Apple Podcasts, leave a review. We're at 739. There's only 11 spots left for a set of tires. So anything else, Jimmy Jet?
Just final words.
Cool.
You ready for them?
I'm ready.
So I went to the historic KPH radio.
Okay. KMPH?
No,
KPH.
KPH.
Okay.
So PH was for, let me see. I have it right here. After where I hid the tokens. PH was for the Palace Hotel in San Francisco.
Okay.
But then where we were was not in San Francisco. They then moved it later after the earthquake to this a location out near Point Reyes. And they were the first people that made a trans-Pacific radio communication.
Yeah.
And it was all Morse code at that point.
Yep.
And the station is still there, and it's still operational today on Saturdays at a certain time, and they give weather and ocean broadcasts to people that are in the general area.
Okay.
But it was really cool to check out if you're ever in the Point Reyes area. And some of the antennas are still out there and some of the works, and they give tours of the radio station on Saturdays if you're out there, which would be pretty cool.
Okay.
And there might be a token hidden nearby. So if you're going to go out there, I'd suggest going on a Saturday.
Perfect. Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go token hunting.
Yeah.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Ooh. Okay.
One not on the cards.
Oh.
Probably not appropriate for the cards.
Okay.
I asked somebody the other day. Actually, I've asked a bunch of people the other day what LBGQ, what T plus, whatever all the other things are. Like, what is that?
It's the alphabet.
Yeah. I just have never gotten a straight answer.
Yeah. Okay. Good job.
Thanks.
Yep.